Ah, nothing but the hard stuff tonight, fellas. Nothing but the hard stuff. Oh, welcome back, fellas fans. Ace here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And guys, this is a difficult show to get through right now. This is what feels like it could be rock bottom. Maybe it does get worse. It certainly feels like rock bottom. Our beloved New Jersey Devils returning to the Rock, where they've lost 4 in a row, where they've been shut out in back-to-back games. Big game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and tonight they got stomped. Can you guys hear me now? Testing. I rocked the microphone. Can someone tell me you could hear me? Someone in the chat. Can anyone hear me? Confirm. Thank you, Collect Records. I rocked the microphone early. I'm furious. Devils lose 8-4. Win or lose, we booze, guys. I started off Terramana. This is the Rock's tequila. The tequila of Dwayne The Rock Johnson to numb your New Jersey Devils induced pains. 8-4. This team is absolutely trash. I hate to say it. Quinn Hughes isn't fixing this. Wayne Gretzky in his prime is not fixing this. No man alive. Cheers to all of you and for being a fan of this hockey club right now. It's painful, guys. Cheers to everybody. Win or lose, we booze. And we've been losing a lot lately. Downing our sorrows in loser beverages. Absolutely disgusting. 8-4. 8-4, guys. We get to the goals. I'm not even going to go through all these. It's 2-0. It's 2-0 Lightning. A few minutes into the game, it seemed like it was going to be one of those nights, and it ended up being more painful than we thought. But one of the, and I hate silver linings and moral victories. I'm not even going to count this as a moral victory or a silver lining. I'm just going to say it's a slight positive. Was that Lukehughes goal, long overdue, was a thing of absolute beauty. That was a video game goal. The spin move. I mean, I thought at the time I delusionally believed like, okay, the Devils came out flat. Luke just had this insane goal. Maybe we will, make this a game after Luke had that goal. But what a goal by Lukehughes. One of the most beautiful goals on the season. Makes it 2-1, and the crowd comes to life. I have to say, if I'm being honest, empty building tonight. I mean, obviously there was people there, but tons of empty seats, and the crowd was absolutely dead. Markey made a couple of big saves early, and there was nothing. The crowd was dead from the beginning, and it started to show signs of life. It came to life a little bit after the Lukehughes highlight reel goal, but it was short-lived because in typical New Jersey Devils fashion, 56 seconds later, Tampa scores again. Completely deflates the little energy that was coming out of the building. I mean, the place was completely dead early on, but then after it was 2-0, it was completely dead. Luke scores the goal. They come to life a little bit, but no, 3-1, and it didn't end there. At 15 minutes, Gensel on the power play makes it 4-1 after the first period, and at that point, it is pretty clear that this team does not have it tonight. They don't have it overall, and they are on their way to get smoked on home ice. Second period, Tampa goes up 5-1. Bratter finally scores a goal, although in a meaningless time. Bratter has been snake bitten forever. He had a great chance in the first period. Got in tight, couple dekes, and got stuffed a couple times by Johansson. I think he had 2 whacks on it on one little sequence there where he came in and I thought he was going to score, but he did not. But scores when it didn't matter. Cuts the lead to 5-2. They go up 6-2. Third period starts. The Shank gets on the board, makes it 6-3, and too little too late. Then Point, and then we just trade goals back and forth. Point gets one 7-3. Paulie Cotter now scores in back-to-back games. Hopefully he could get going. And then they get another one late. 8-4. Game over. This team is in a bad way. In a bad way. Really, really bad way. We go to the game stats. Lightning, 35 shots on goal. Devils with 37. Lightning, 51.5% in the faceoff circle. Devils, 48.5. Power play for the Lightning. Once again, the Devils PK, garbage. Lightning go 2 for 3, and Devils go 1 for 3 on the power play. So at least they showed some life on the power play. But the Devils have now been scored on 5 of the last 6 penalty kills have given up goals. The my mind is shot right now. Senators go 3 for 3 in the last game, and then Lightning go 2 for 3 tonight. So in the last 2 games, 5 of 6 were scored on the penalty kill unit. Absolutely tragic. Devils ramping up the hits, or maybe this is just a gratuitous statistician at home, but hits 15 for the Lightning, 32 for the Devils. Lightning, 13 block shots. Devils, 13 block shots. Lightning, 7 giveaways. Devils, 14 giveaways. Lightning, 2 takeaways. Devils, 6 takeaways. What a gross game, guys. I'm just devastated on so many levels right now. Is there anything even worth talking about here? Nason with 5 shot attempts, playing on that first line with 1 assist, 1 hit. Not much else here. I mean, what are we going to talk about? Pally had 2 shots, 3 blocks, 4 hits. Decent stat line for him. Paulie Cotter, 3 shots, 6 hits. Jesper Bratt, a goal, 4 shots, 3 hits. Luke Hughes, this might be a career high. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. I misread it. I thought Luke had 3 hits. Nope, he had 0. I was I got to get my eyes checked. That was giveaways. I'm sorry. That was 3 giveaways from back. I thought it was 3 hits. No, that would have been a career high probably. But Markey, just terrible. 3 goals against on 7 shots. And Jake Allen, I don't blame him that much, but he did not play great either. But a lot of those were just ridiculously high danger scoring chances against that can never happen just due to the Devils melting down defensively. But Jake Allen, 23 saves on 28 shots. And lastly, what do we have here? The deserve to win-o-meter. Somehow the Devils, 56.3% deserve to win that game. We all know that this thing is just kind of for entertainment purposes only. There's not really any validity to it. We've seen many nights where the team that they claim deserves to win lost. I feel like it's been that a few times in a row. But there it is. And so now, where does this team go from here? A team that has lost, 6 of the last 7 now? 6 of the last 7. And I'm really at a loss for words. I don't know. Jack and Pesci will make a big difference. And then if they could get some outside help. But the difference between a healthy version of this team and an injured version of this team is just absolutely night and day. I mean, they just looked like shit tonight. And here's the thing. To Sheldon Keefe's credit, the entire 4th line, guys. I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about a 4th line of minor leaguers. AHL guys, and a whole line. It's not just one, here and there. It's like, this is what the story of Sheldon Keefe's New Jersey Devils tenure has been. Just patchwork with constant minor leaguers who have to play extended time because of the lack of depth, which is, that is an implication on management. And nothing has changed. The panic button should have firmly been pressed games ago. I think I officially was at that point after the 3rd loss of the recent 5-game losing streak. And then they went on to lose 2 more. Kind of got lucky in Ottawa, and then they lose again tonight. I mean, this team has just looked absolutely tragic. Something must give. And at this point, it is only fair to question whether the man who created this mess, Tom Fitzgerald, should be allowed to attempt to fix it. And at this point, from what I've seen the past 2 seasons and so far this season, I categorically have to say that you don't deserve a chance to even fix it. He should be shown the door tomorrow. That's it. He's made a mess of this team. I'm not going to continue to harp on this, but in the end, he has created the reality that this team is living in right now. And at this point, I don't think anyone should trust him to be the one to fix it, and he should not be given that opportunity. He should be packing multiple boxes tonight and being escorted out of the arena, because there needs to be a drastic change, and it needs to happen before it is too late. And right now, as bad and as dark as it seems right now, Devils fans, I do still believe, despite how bad and how ugly it's looked, I still believe with a competent GM, keyword being competent GM can come in here, and with Jack and Pesci getting healthy, and with a couple of the right trades, a few trades, whatever it is, with a couple of the right moves, can get the train back on the tracks. But time is precious. Time is ticking. Today is December 11th. If this kind of stays stagnant for another couple weeks, it can get away from us in a hurry. You all know the story with the standings, and there is not a lot of margin for error. I mean, the margin for error is very small, and a couple bad weeks of play like this, they could be in the insurmountable deficit. It cannot happen. It should not happen. If this organization was serious about winning, the changes should have already happened, but tonight should have been a wake-up call. An absolute wake-up call. I don't know what more you need to see. This team, as constructed right now, is flawed. It is broken. There are so many things you could analyze about this team, but in the end, the uninspiring losses and the just seems like mental and physical fragility, physically and mentally weak, cannot overcome the adversity and just kind of withers up and dies. And we're at the point now where, again, I've seen enough. The track record's there. Something should have already happened. In my opinion, a major shakeup should have happened a week or two ago. It did not. And so days and days are ticking off the calendar, and it just seems like more of the same, and we've all seen this movie before. But I will say the crowd was not inspired tonight whatsoever. It was a very sparse crowd, and I fully expect that the Devils will be playing in front of other very meager crowds for the duration of the season if nothing changes. People work hard for their money and have plenty of options to spend money on and their time. Money and time. And sometimes it feels like sports organizations take that for granted, like it's our privilege to go to your games and spend this money. These tickets aren't free. People work hard for their money in 2025. Tickets are not cheap. Everything costs a fortune. And to put this product on the ice constantly and just like everything's okay is unacceptable. And people can vote with their wallets. And so we will see. But I fully anticipate this is a sign of many things to come. Luckily for the team, the next two games are weekend afternoons, which typically draw well at the box office because parents love it for the kids, which makes sense. 12:30 games on Saturdays and Sundays. They will get some people there, but probably less than they would have. And if the losing continues, I expect the rest of December and the rest of this winter and throughout the season, it's going to be sparse crowds. And that's what happens when you have an uninspiring product on the ice with nothing, giving the people nothing to be excited about. It's unbelievable. Shout out to my buddy Brian, gave me tickets to go tonight. I think I'm already at the point between some other issues I have going on and the team struggling and my personal kind of own little side gripe with the organization, a different story, but makes it hard to want to give them any money and go to these games. And so I don't know. I might be implementing a boycott until something happens. I cannot, in my right consciousness, spend money and give money to an organization that puts this product on the ice and just thinks it's okay, and by their inactivity tells us all that this is fine. This is what you get. This is your main course. This is your meal. You eat that meal and you pay top dollar for it and you smile. But fans have a choice. They have plenty of choices. They could sit home and say, you know what? I am not going to spend a fortune to go to this game to watch a hockey team that's icing an entire line of AHLers and that refuses to make improvements to a team when we're headed down the same exact path we've seen before for the past 2 years. And so the only thing fans could do is a couple people tried to get fire Fitzy chants going in the crowd. They never really took. And like I said, a lot of the fans at these games are super casual and don't even really know what's going on behind the scenes. But we're in a dark time. We're in a real dark time. And Quinn Hughes is not fixing this. I don't think one single player is fixing this. I think there needs to be sweeping organizational changes. And I don't know, Jack, Pesci, and a couple trades, I still would like to believe there's a chance that they could do something. But this is really ugly stuff. They look much closer to a lottery team as of late than they do a playoff team. And that's just the sad reality. But unless something changes, I don't know, guys. I am very down right now. This was a big game. And once again, they just get punched in the mouth and kind of wilt and die. It's just discouraging. It's truly discouraging, guys. But there should be some sort of wake-up call, whether that's the trade, a new general manager, a combination of both. I don't know. But this isn't it. This isn't it. And for all the people that chastised specific players and the core as a whole, I said a couple games ago, I think it was after the 5th game of the 5-game losing streak, I am now fully on board. I have seen enough. This core is not it. I said this a couple games ago. This is not even just a reaction to tonight's game. This is just kind of the latest last straw. They've underachieved for eternity. They're career underachievers as a group. And once again, they're wilting and dying without Jackhughes. Completely unacceptable. The core ain't it, period. For anyone that tries to convince themselves otherwise, you're just in denial. We're now at the point where it's more than fair to say you're not it, guys. As a group, you are not it, and you will not get it done. And that is the reality. This group will not get it done. Cores that are legit cup contenders, if one guy in the core goes down, they're not going to look like a lottery team for a couple weeks in a row. Certainly not. They will have maybe a couple bad games, whatever it is, but they're not going to look lifeless and roll over and die. And this team in the past couple weeks has been pathetic. Pathetic. 5 losses in a row on home ice now, and they've scored, they got shut out in the last 2, and they scored 3 tonight, or 4 rather. In all these goals in garbage time when it doesn't matter anyway, where the game was heavily decided. Not good enough. Not close to good enough. They didn't, for whatever reason, have a Sheldon Keefe interview on the MSG postgame. All they did was show Markey, who was visibly agitated, very intense. And I was getting there after I was done talking about the rest of this. But yeah, I mean, the reality is it is very clear. This core is not it. The team is broken foundationally. There are larger issues at work here. We will never be able to identify them. But all I can tell you is that this group as is certainly not it. It is a flawed roster, period. Flawed roster, no heart, no bite, roll over and die. Time for sweeping changes everywhere. On the ice, in the boardroom, change up everything because this is another season of the same, and we're calling it now early. There's still plenty of time, which makes it even more agitating because it's not like we're at the point now where it's gotten away from us. Like there's still time to be proactive and make the changes to save the season. We're watching it in real time, as many other people in 23-24. Some of you took a little bit longer to see the light, but some of you were kind of on the same page with me from early on during that 23-24 season. And we're talking about while we watched a team drop games because of garbage goaltending, we were like yelling from the mountaintops, get us a goalie, get us a goalie. We could win games, get a goalie. And nothing happened. That was that season. Last year, wanted extra pieces for the run. That did not happen. You got Daniel Sprung, and you will like it. And here we are again, hands in the as the season that started off so promising, couple injuries hit, and now we're looking like a team that is looking to play for a high draft pick. And unless I see something happen immediately in the next couple days, I would say, I will not be convinced that this organization is serious about winning, period. And a lot of people have already been there. I tried to hold out hope and say, I don't know if that's true, blah, blah, blah. But I'm beaten down. I'm to the point where I can't ward off the attackers anymore because we're seeing it once again, the same reoccurring movie. We all know how it ends, and everyone knows. And so now, while we're here in this moment, mid-December, the season can be salvaged. It is certainly salvageable, but it is not going to be salvaged by hoping and wishing, keeping our hands in our pockets and saying, well, hopefully one day we could be competitive. There's no more looking to the future. The future is now. The time to win is now. And if it's not now, then it's unfortunately not going to be for years from now, because the window was wide open. People were in denial about that, but the window was open, and now it's slowly closing. And it's not even slowly closing. It's kind of rapidly closing, in my opinion. So many question marks surrounding the team heading into the future. And then for the people talking about Quinn Hughes, like, oh, get him in 2 years. You know, if he could sign as an unrestricted free agent in July of 2027, that means, you know, he's on the roster for 27, 28. What does your goalie situation look like then? Who's your defensive core? You know, what is the status of Jack then? Did he cut another hand off? Is Bradder still here? Is Nico here? Does Nico resign? I mean, there's so many question marks that talking about getting Quinn in a couple years is just, there's why. Furthermore, I will say, at this point, I don't even know if it's even worth getting Quinn at this point. I mean, there's just so many different. It's so mind-boggling on so many levels. I'm honestly disgusted. And the reality is, I still think they should try to get Quinn, but I don't even think Fitz should be the one working on this deal anymore. Just like remove him entirely. Shrouded in just a losing culture. Complete losing culture. Everyone being okay with losing, and it's gross. A once proud franchise, as you all know, or many of you know. Lou Lamoriello, the architect. Cheers to you guys. 3 Stanley Cup championships, a proud franchise with great players, and now here we are, a shell of our former selves, winning a single playoff round. A single playoff round in the past 14 years. And 7 total playoff games. Let that sink in, guys. Let that sink in. 7 playoff games won in 14 years. That's a same every 2 years. So we win 1 playoff game every 2 years on average. And this is okay. People are okay with this. The future is bright. I'm done. I am disgusted. This franchise has fallen so hard, and nothing has been done to try to repair it. Nothing has been done. Just more sunshines and rainbows, maybe some off-season signings. But in terms of actually trying to win now, actually improving this roster, nothing has been done. Nothing has been done, and we're seeing it again. And so I do think from this point forward, I think I am firmly done with giving this organization money in any way. I think I'm finally at the point between them insulting me on a separate issue, and then the product that they're icing on a nightly basis, calling it an NHL team and talking about how they're trying to win now. I'm done with having my intelligence insulted. You can insult a lot of the young people and maybe some of the older folks that are more casual fans and they like to go to the games and, it's a good time and a night out. Well, for the people, most of the people anyway, in this live stream right now, and myself, this is more than just kind of like a distraction. You guys are invested, and shout out to all you guys. If you're in here watching me right now talk about this team, you are more than a casual fan, and you are invested in this team. More than likely, a good portion of you get high and low the way I do. You get fired up and you feel the crash with the way this team performs, and because you're invested, because you are more than a casual fan. People like us will not be fooled. The masses might not know. They may be clueless to everything that's going on. They might not know about the team refusing to spend LTIR money. They might not realize that, certain things should have been done at certain times. They're just going to games and la-di-da, have an ice cream, have a hot dog. Yeah, Devils lose, and we go home. But for people that know, you know what time it is. Captain THC, you're a clown. Go run a Rangers podcast. Captain THC, how about you? Let me see what else this guy said. No one's asking you to be here, Captain THC. Sorry that the truth hurts, my guy. Idiot. And that's it. In terms of Jacob Markstrom, all of the people that were questioning the signing, unfortunately, as it stands right now, they're right. Now, again, I'm not going to say they're definitely right, but it's certainly trending in that direction. And it's still too early to call it. Listen, you guys know I'm a marky guy, but I try to be fair. I've said consistently throughout this season thus far that he has been shaky. I would not deny it. He's been very shaky. I think I've been pretty fair in the assessment of him. I don't think it's the tragedy that many people here try to make it out to be. And he has had moments where even after letting in softies, like that Ottawa game, like some of the, at least one of those goals was horrible, but he made some big time saves in the third period to preserve the win. And I hope that he could find that level of his game soon, because if he doesn't, then all the people that questioned the signing were completely right. And with that being said, I'm talking about the people that have already called it a bad signing. I think it's way too early to call it a bad signing, but it's not too early to say that the timing of the signing by Fitzgerald is bizarre. Because I'll give you that. I think I was fair with that from the beginning too. To question the timing of the signing is certainly fair. You know, coming back from an injury, looking shaky, and it's like, here's 2 years, $6 million a year. Like the timing of it, regardless of how it played out, the timing is very suspect. And so everyone that has questioned that from the beginning, I will fully validate you there. Now, in terms of calling the signing a fail, way too early. Although it's unlikely, I mean, there is a world or a chance that he could suck this entire season, come back next year and be much better. Like, it's not likely, but it is a possibility. And so I am not going to call the signing a bad one just yet. I will say the timing of it is certainly odd, as many people pointed out. But way too early to call it a bad signing. But it's certainly, if nothing changes, it's obviously trending in that direction. As of right now, that would be the favored kind of final grading of that contract extension. If I had to bet on it, you know, is it a great signing? It's, from what we've seen thus far, it's not looking like it's going to be one. I hope that it turns around. But as of right now, all of these people were correct. And so that wasn't even a thing I was holding against Fitz. A lot of people were jumping on him for that right away. All I said from the beginning was, timing strange. I hope it pans out. We have to see. We won't know until it plays out. There's no way to call it. But, that's now going to be another thing that is talked about in terms of, criminal charges against Tom Fitzgerald. And the list is fairly long. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go through all of them. The list of crimes is long. And that's how we got here. No, or at least not enough depth to where we have to, injuries. You can't use injuries for every excuse. Like, our entire fourth line is AHL guys. It's unfortunate, but here we are. Here we are once again, living the same old. I am disgusted, but in the end, all of these people, I hope Markey comes back to life, but you may end up being completely correct. And I'm close to saying that he's finished. And I hate to say it, but a lot of people were worried about goaltenders being old. I was not worried because I try to be optimistic, and there's no point in worrying about everything in life. I was slightly concerned, but everyone kind of freaking out about the age thing. And it does seem like now we are witnessing the sort of complete breakdown of a goaltender in old age. And we've seen it with other goaltenders. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but we've seen it with other goaltenders in NHL history that it just seems like, nearly overnight. Sometimes they show signs of trailing off earlier and it's a little more gradual, but this looks like a case of, could it be the wheels just fell off entirely? Not quite overnight, but pretty quickly. Could that be the point we're at right now with Markey? I think it's possible. I hope that's not the case, but it's what we may be witnessing. And if that's the case and he's completely finished, he needs to be put on LTIR, and that's it. That's it. You need to be put on LTIR or retire. Because if this is the level of goaltending they're going to get, I mean, at some point, you guys know I've vigorously defended this man. I love him. I'm a huge fan. But at some point, the stats are the stats, and you cannot keep blaming it on other people or the defense and pointing the finger. At some point, I'm not quite there yet. I'm still hoping he turns it around. And there's still a chance that he could. But if nothing changes and the trend continues, it is a fair question. Have we witnessed the wheels completely fall off, and is it completely over for him? And that's something that needs to be asked, and it needs to be asked honestly and figured out soon. Because as many of you have pointed out, we have another goaltender in the organization, Nico Daws. Do we need to have an Allen-Daws tandem pretty soon? I think it's a fair question. Again, I'm not saying that that's definitely the answer or that Markey is finished, but we might be a couple starts away from declaring that. I mean, if he has a couple more starts like this, at that point, I would say I think I've seen enough. I mean, how many chances does one get? And not everything's his fault. The defense has been shitty, obviously, giving up grade A scoring chances left and right, obviously, letting guys wide open in the slot, guys just not getting tied up in front. It's all fair questioning at this point, but I think we might be close to kind of declaring it a career, and I hate to be that way, but this has been now, we're mid-December. Like, at some point, it's got to get turned around quick. We can't still be having this conversation in February. We've seen a lot here, and I'm trying to give them every benefit. And now we go to the comments. Ride and respect. Thank you for the super. You're a soldier. You're a soldier for going to the game. Ace, I'd rather watch paint dry right now. This team blows. Nah, you're not wrong. It's a pretty rough, and thank you for another one we got here. I would rather this $5 go to you than towards the purchase of a ticket to watch this atrocity. Yeah, thanks for that. It's a rough time, guys. It's a really rough time. I am beyond depressed right now. Here we start off here. Kevin, hey, I believe in this team. We've got changes to make and work to do, but we will bring it back. Few trades behind a good coach. The boys will come through. That's a whole lot of optimism. I wish I had anywhere near that same level. And I do think a lot of people here, especially, would probably say I'm over optimistic because I try to be as optimistic for as long as I can. But at some point, I say, okay, you got a reasonable amount of time to prove or whatever we're looking for. And at some point you have to call it for what it is. And it's a bad hockey team right now. Without jackhughes, this team looks absolutely tragic. Corey Schneider 2.0 says world's worst gamer. Brandon Allen let in maybe two bad ones, but the way we play in our zone is a disaster. Completely agree. M. Shred, hey, it's not a normal chatter, but I'm in here pretty much every night. And this performance made me have to comment because I genuinely am so frustrated by this team. Well, M. Shred, welcome to the group of people frustrated. It's a frustrating team to watch. It's certainly a frustrating team to watch. And what's more frustrating is that despite the cries of the entire, I guess, no one cares about the fan base, but they should. It's their paying customers looking for change and for something different. We're just getting more of the same and nothing is being done. More hoping and wishing. And this will now be a third season squandered after a record-setting season in 22-23. There'll be documentaries about, or at least articles. There'll be at least articles about this underperforming core and what should have been and what could have been, but instead what was. And it was going to be a just long time run of underachieving. It's pathetic. SJ, poor Dilly has to be the tough guy in a team of softies. Yeah, Dilly giving it his all the time. Ate some shots in that bout early, but showed some fight. One of the only guys showing heart. Jason said it's a horrible signing. We paid him when he looked awful. Insane Pollock, the reverse post-Christmas break incoming. The league is writing the script now. Oh, boy. Bobby, thank you for the super. Bratt revealed they had a team meeting after the game. He called it vocal and honest. I'll give you a vocal and honest meeting. You guys suck, and you look like you don't care. You're giving the collective middle finger to the paying fans. That's it. You can have all the meetings you want. Show me. Go do something. Show heart. Go hit somebody. Go do something. Do anything. And there was moments to be somewhat enthusiastic throughout the game. If you didn't know the score and you're just kind of watching the gameplay, you're like, oh, that was a nice little play, whatever. But in the against the backdrop of the beating we were taking, none of it matters. There's no more silver linings. There's no more victories. You either win or you lose. 2 points, 1 point, or no points. And once again, on home ice, no points. 0-5 in the last 5 home games, 10 points up for grabs, and you got none. 0. Not a single point out of 10. Not a single point out of 10. Collect Records, thank you for the super. A show itemizing Fitz's crimes could be an award-winning episode. We can get you a judge robe, flirt out with devil logos, and bury him, Judge Ace. I mean, but what is the point now? I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, for what is that going to serve? Like, everyone here knows most of the crimes. And I don't even care to get into the nitty-gritty details of every single little granular one, because I think that is kind of, people have done that and have written stuff about this. And I do think a lot of them are, again, I've defended Fitz about a lot of stuff. I try to be fair. I absolutely bury him when I think it's warranted, but I've defended him for a lot of stuff because there are people that will use the beautiful concept of hindsight to then go back and really kill him for stuff. Like, example, people claiming, all these good goalies that got away, and they mention Blackwood and Wedgwood, and then they'll put that on the list of Fitz crimes and then kind of kill him over it. I'm going to be fair. I think the organization, at the time we parted with both of those guys, no one was outraged. No one was saying, this was a big mistake, because in the end, I think the organization was fairly patient with Blackwood specifically. I mean, he was inconsistent. He showed signs of greatness from time to time. Me and a couple of my friends thought he was going to be the next franchise goaltender, but he can never get it together. He had the injuries and blah, blah. So in the end, it seemed sensible to move on from him. And it was like, it's just not working out here. Maybe he needs a change of scenery, blah, blah, blah. He goes to San Jose. He plays a lot on a bad Sharks team, still puts up decent numbers, then finds his way being dealt to a cup favorite in the Avalanche. And now he's going to win a cup of the Avalanche at some point. It is completely unfair to put that on his list of crimes, in my opinion. Now, Akira Schmid, totally different story. We've talked about this before as well, but Akira Schmid was an unforgivable one. Nowhere near patient enough. I do think his development was completely toyed with by the Devils, mismanaged, yo-yoed up and down to the AHL. For a guy that won a playoff series and the only goaltender in the past 32 years in New Jersey Devils franchise history, other than the great Martin Brodeur, in 32 years, only one besides Marty to win a playoff series for the Devils. I would have given him a lot of leeway, and I would have been very gracious and patient in his development because of the fact he came in there and did his thing in Madison Square Garden in games 3 and 4, won both of them to bring the series back to the Rock, tied at 2 in that first round in 2023, before ultimately pitching a shutout in game 7. I mean, again, only guy other than Marty. That gets you a lot of built up goodwill with myself, and I certainly would have tried to see that one out. But here it is what it is. It is what it is. And here we are. But I do think a lot of people use hindsight and kind of unfairly bash him for some stuff. Now, like I said, there is millions of things that I think is fair game that he should be bashed for. But stuff like that, like the Woods, Blackwood and Wedgwood, don't put those on his list of crimes, because then I'd have to question your entire motive and your list itself. But the list is certainly extensive with valid things. I just would not put that on it. But there's plenty of other stuff. Bring back Lou for the rest of the season. All right, let me see. No paper bag yet. Maybe soon. Maybe soon. All right, I'm trying to. Yeah, I'd love to know the other vocal meeting. Oh, someone yelled in the room. Max, Ace, what is the temperature under Fitzy right now? If it's not hot yet, it's got to be starting to get uncomfortable. I don't think it is, because it seems like if that was the case, something would have happened already. I mean, what do you have to lose? 9 out of 10 to get fired? I mean, the track record's there on a free fall. Nothing's happening. I don't even want him involved in the Quinn Hughes deal anymore. Change is needed, and he shouldn't be the guy to fix it. He's the one that made this disaster. I don't want him doing another ounce of damage to this team. Op Ranger said, I was at the game after Markey got pulled. He literally threw his helmet in rage. I did not see that. But a smooth question. Who's in charge of choosing to replace Fitz? Does he have to step down or can he be removed, fired? Of course he could be fired. What do you think this is? He's the GM until he says so? All right, Mark says they won't bring up Dawes because then they would have to pay him the NHL rate for games in. Who cares? Pay him. But I think they have to start investigating whether that LTIR maneuver is a possibility because we're damn close to, I think, having to do that. Yo, Holmes says, cap hell, loads of no movement clauses, old, hot, and cold goalies, no prospects in Utica worth of crap. Boozeface built this. It's true. Bonzo says, how can you come on tonight? God bless you. Yeah, the show must go on, guys. Win or lose, we booze. I will be here. I'm going to do another little Terramana. Shout out to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He made a decent tequila. Terramana. It's painful. I'm in pain right now. Bring back Nico Dawes. Sounds like I'm finally waking up. I mean, what does that mean? Finally waking up. I call it for what it is. You guys were, people writing off. And again, the season's still not over. But things have to happen. After one game, there's people going, oh, the season's over. This team sucks. And then they won an 8-game heater, and these people went back under the bridges they crawled out from. So finally what? Finally what? Kieran, thank you for the super. There's no comment, so I'll look to see if there's another one. X of the Juice Man, absolutely cheeks. Fits the clown, teaching clown tactics and NHL GMing. It's certainly hoping and wishing. Wow, the comments, but thank you. Presify, thank you for the super. Fitz is a drunken lowlife lord who will sit back and chill. He's only focused on the next handle he's going to get at the liquor store. We're screwed. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I don't think he's drinking, but he's certainly not improving this team. Bobby says, am I dumb? Why is Fitz called Boozeface? I guess someone could clue him in there. Someone started this nickname last year, I believe, or maybe 2 years ago. But change needs to happen quick because there's still a chance to salvage the season, but it can get away from us. But sitting back and doing nothing, we're watching it in real time. We're watching it in real time, and it's crazy. Triple H, how sad, embarrassing, soft, directionless, disorganized, gutless. Did I miss anything? That's a pretty good start. Maybe the Devils can trade Markey to the Hilton Corp. He'd be a great doorman, letting everyone in. You guys are brutal. I hope he turns it around, but I'm real close to calling it. Super close because we're just seeing a lot of the same. And at some point, you have to say, this is what it is. The wheels have fallen off. I hope not. Anson Meadows says, I bring in Torts or Marty as GM. Almost everyone disagrees with me, but I firmly would take a chance on Marty. Who cares? What can explain the bad juju in the locker room is if Jack's injury was a result of horseplay and the players are sour about the double standards this organization has for anyone named Hughes. I mean, that's quite a conspiracy theory. I don't think that's the case. I mean, these aren't high school kids. They're professionals that play in the NHL and want to win. X of the Juiceman says our first unprotected might have a ton of value now. Yeah, it's certainly seeming like it could trend that direction. A very high pick indeed. One playoff round win since is garbage since 2012. Absolutely. Hey, Russo, Mark, you need some time off. No BS. Let him build confidence in the AHL because it's bad right now. I don't even know if they can do that. I'm not even sure how that works with a guy like Markey. Could you send him to the A? I mean, the reality is he'd probably go down there. Utica's so bad, he'd probably get lit up even worse. Mace says Fitz and Madigan need to be gone ASAP. I'm done. They did this. I agree. You shouldn't get a chance to do more damage while trying to fix it. Bring in somebody else to try to correct it all. Yo, Holmes says, fun fact, Fitz should have been fired 2 years ago. I agree. Stamkos had 4 goals tonight. Stop it. He can't score 4 goals, guys. He's washed. 4 goals? Hold up. Is that real? That's real. A 4-goal night for the Stammer. Wow. How do you like them apples, huh? 4 goals, and they told me this man was washed. And then when they start regurgitating his stats going forward, they're going to say, he scored X amount of goals, but 4 of them are in one game. That's going to be the moving target. I would take Stamkos in a second. Ace should clip himself saying that for the soundboard. Saying what? Saying what for the soundboard? I'm trying to catch up here, so I'm trying to speed ahead. Flashes. Cotter was slick with that goal. Flashes of greatness. Yeah. Paulie's got those hands. Those hands. 360 bonk. It says Cotter is just Miles Wood 2.0. I think he's got better hands for sure. Ivan just came back from the game. What a mess. This team is in trouble. I'm sorry to say, no urgency. Completely agree. The man from Jers 201, this product really is unwatchable. The team needs guys with heart and cojones. 3 goals in the first 8 minutes is embarrassing, and the Lightning are roughing up a Devil player. No teammate steps in. Nolan says, I'm worried Quinn sees us now and won't sign until 26, 27. No, I still think he wants to be here with his brothers, and they all probably believe he'll make the team better. A. Russo says, we need Brendan Shanahan, maybe. He's on my short list for sure. If Marty doesn't want the job, Shanny would probably be my next call. Unfortunately, I don't even know if the powers that be even know who Brendan Shanahan is. So he might not even be on the radar because they probably don't know who he is. Eric says, Blackwood and Wedgwood were the right calls at the time. Schmid trade was a mistake day one. I agree with that. And here we go with the people bringing up things that are extreme, but or within reason to say now. I'm on the trade Nico train. We need a captain who could light a fire under these guys' asses. I don't necessarily know that I want to trade him, but it's certainly a fair question. I would say, I don't know that it would be even remotely doable this season because of the fact that this team has no center depth. I guess unless you were getting another center back, you could potentially investigate it. But these are all things that I would have said are crazy in the past. But now with the way this team has performed and what they've looked like I said, almost anything that would have been deemed crazy prior is now not that crazy. Even some of the stuff that was really crazy, not that crazy anymore. When you look like this in your losses and you lose for this much and you just look lifeless, even the most ridiculous comments are somewhat fair. Samuel says, season's over again, and next year doesn't look like anything but shit with Vince running the team. I've been a fan since 82, but can't remember being this down. Michael says, I've never seen Ace like this before, and I've been here for years. I mean, I typically don't get that angry and that down, but this is like, every year we go into the season thinking like, can we please stay healthy? Can we please do something? And we don't stay healthy, and then we look like shit, and then Fitz does nothing, and it's just on and around and around. And we're just watching the same thing again and again and again. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that's what's been going on with this franchise. And people are still paying money to go watch this. I can't do it in my right mind anymore. Brian says we are officially one of the worst teams in the league, not dooming. Right now, I agree. We look like it. Kieran, Ace, appreciate all that you do. So frustrated with this ownership group. They set the tone. A change in GM would only be handcuffed by ownership. They don't care enough. Certainly looks that way. Certainly looks that way. Dry Fly says, in terms of moving the core, I think the most important piece to move is Nico. Having him as our captain is a true disgrace. Wow, this is very pointed. I cannot remember a soft player both mentally and physically. I don't know that that's true. He certainly, I get why he's the target. And again, it's just the type of guy he is. But I personally would like to have seen that change a little bit. But yeah, his body language looks like defeat regularly. And I don't think that that's a good look. You know, do I think that that necessarily means all the stuff you're saying? I think it's a bit extreme, but I understand why people, when we're losing games and he's getting roughed up and whatever, and he has that look like he's about to cry, like, I don't want to see that shit. Go out there and two-hand chop somebody's kneecap before you start looking like you're going to cry. Like, I just show life. I get it. I think you're a little excessive with it, but it's all based in something that is real. And that is, we've just seen the same kind of pouty kind of stuff forever. And I love Nico. Absolutely love Nico. But at some point, like, come on, man. Do something. Snow Devil says, dude, you can't blame Timo. His first priority should be his family. He has a life and his career isn't all of it. Oh, yeah. Anyone blaming Timo, dude. Like, something's going on with his family. You got to take care of that. Hockey and your job is secondary. Jason says, forget the Quinn deal. It's a waste of assets. I could totally see why people think that. Michael says, if anyone wins the Powerball in here, we all know what to do. The sad reality is with the way franchise values have gone up, you'd have to win several Powerballs now to buy the Devils. Once upon a time, it would have been enough. But with the way these franchise values are now, one Powerball win is not going to get it done for you, unfortunately. I think the Devils are now valued at, I think, a little over $2 billion. All right, I'm trying to catch up here, folks. Bear with me. Brian says fire Fitz now. Just let Don Waddle leave and get Eric Tolsky. That's not going to happen. Middlelander Ace, go listen to Keefe's presser. Yeah, they didn't show it on TV. I watch it when I get off here. Some honesty from an organization that can only gaslight and virtue signal. We got our asses kicked. That's what he said. Yeah, Mark, he looks like an axe murderer in post-game interviews after he loses. Yeah, he looked wild. Wild. The Keefe presser is up. Okay, yeah, I waited a little bit. It didn't pop up, so on I came. Cisco Kid says, Ace, that new guy on Locked on Devils is losing it with Devils commentary, not holding back. Yeah, I've briefly talked to him, Zach. Nice guy. I haven't really seen any of his stuff outside of the Fitz video that he put up within the past couple days. And again, I don't agree with all of his criticisms of Fitz because I do think he's unfairly using hindsight to sneak in a couple of those things to add to his list of crimes. But for the most part, I think almost everything he said was, within reason and fair. And in the end, the general message of the video is that Fitz needs to be fired, which is what, I 1,000% agree with. And so I'm not going to get into the slight couple things that I think were unfair, but I am trying to be fair. Like I said, people bash Fitz for a lot of stuff that I don't think he should be bashed for. And the Blackwood and Wedgwood are one of them. One of the many things I see kind of over and over again. And I think in that video, he had a couple things that I would kind of classify as that, like unfair hindsight judgments. But in the end, the message of the video is spot on, and the things about going forward, it's all true. But it is interesting. I haven't seen anyone really kind of be that candid, I guess, as he was. David says, I mean, seriously, those marky eyes when he's upset about the game and aggressive flat speak about how upset he is at himself, very serial killer vibe. Yeah, he looked really pissed. Richard, 4 goals for Stammer. I know he's too old, people. I know Richard would like that. Mr. Snowford, Fitz must go. Core must be broken up, or we'll go nowhere season after season. Watch the first period, then turn it off to watch Christmas Vacation with the fam. Well, Mr. Snowford, you made much better usage of your time than to watch the rest of this disappointing team. SJ says, I knew they'd be bad without Hughes, but not this bad. Yeah, I didn't think that would be bad. I thought they would, their play would dip off a little bit, but I would have never seen them. I would have never predicted that they would go from the team we saw with Jack to a team that just looks absolutely terrible. The panic button was hit a long time ago, my friend. I hit it a long time ago. Jason, did they consider putting the emergency goaltender in tonight? That would have been something, huh? The E-bug. Butta Smooth says, headline, Fitz fired, Marty hired, would all be here so fast with a sudden live by Ace. Oh, man. I would celebrate that thing so hard. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But here we are. If something doesn't change soon, this season's going to be another lost season. And it's even more frustrating because we all see it happening before our eyes. Like, it's not too late to fix it. BK, do you think these issues stem from Fitz's roster mismanagement, or do you think it's a locker room team culture issue? You ready for it? It's both. It's complete, a completely flawed roster. And part of that is the locker room team culture issue. They've become a group of losers, loser mentality, loser culture. And it started with just, we had a franchise record setting 112-point season. We missed the playoffs next year. Oh, well. And again, that's why I thought Fitz should have been gone at that point. You cannot take that step back with the young group we had. They must build on that season. You must immediately follow it up with another playoff berth and hopefully at a minimum win a round again, hopefully win 2 rounds and go further. But you must at least replicate what you did the season before. You cannot miss the playoffs. Massive, massive fail. And it all just builds a loser culture, loser mentality. And that's what we've become. A once proud franchise that wanted to win the cup every year. Now we celebrate making the playoffs. It's disgusting. I'm disgusted. Brian says New Jersey Sabres. Flat-footed gringo. Nico is a great player, not a great captain. Never seen him angry or fired up or vocal. Every time they zoom on him on the bench after a shift, he slouched over looking like he's in pain, need emotion. Another fire Fitz now. Bobby, I just saw this. Thank you. Say what you want, but I feel bad for Mark. He thought he was going to start crying in his post-game. Got to feel for the guy. At least I do. Yeah, but you know what? there comes a day where everyone must realize, and I'm not saying this is it yet, but we could be coming up on it quickly, depending on how things shake out, where it's like, you know what? I can't do this thing I used to do. For some people, it's, maybe run a marathon. For some people, it's, snowboard. I can't ski anymore. My knees are bad. And for some people, it's, I cannot play this sport that I've played my whole life and I love and I play professionally. I can't play it anymore professionally. I am not at that level. And I hope that's not where we are. But there is a chance that it is, or we're very close to it. Again, I hope that is not the case and we see a big bounce back immediately. But we're dangerously close to calling it. Justin Smith said, I think the Devils just embarrassed fans tonight. Blaming Fitz for this is crazy. Wanting him fired is such a bad take. Lazy Bulldog, are you 12 or just stupid or a member of the Fitzgerald family? One of the three. Wanting him fired is a bad take. The 99% of the fan base wants him fired, and for good reason, because we've seen the same thing over and over and over again, and we're going nowhere. Precious seasons of a core down the toilet is such a bad take. Fitz has not really did anything horrible. It's his inaction these past 2 seasons that really stinks. Yeah, inaction is the same thing. Yeah, a lot of people kill him for moves that he made. I really don't. In the end, I kill him for the moves he didn't make. And that's improving the team at all. 23-24 when we desperately needed goaltending. And last year we got sprung. I mean, come on. Those are crimes. M-Force, by the way, the new Locked On Devils guy is horrible. I mean, I only saw that one episode about Fitz, but I thought he was okay. You didn't like it? He's definitely a truth teller. Jack, Nico always gets hit and roughed up and no one does anything about it. Would they have done that with Stevens or any other captain in the league? There's your culture change right there. No, but listen, I'm an old-time fan, and I get it, and a lot of you are as well. But you have to understand the league is totally different now. Like, there's not many guys that are remotely like Scott Stevens anymore. And while I still would love to see guys like that, it's just a different world now. And those guys are few and far between. And it's obviously the driving factor behind why I love the Tkachuk brothers so much. They're complete throwbacks, just like their old man. Absolute animals, heavier, edgier, more violent, my type of old school player. But there's not many of them in the league. They still exist. And they're not quite extinct. But guys like that are certainly an endangered species. And for everyone to kind of use the Scott Stevens scale to judge captains or hitting or any of these things, like, it's never going to be that again. We saw the pinnacle, the top of the top. Mechanicsville, Fitz built a team of softies. Fitz handcuffed us with Hamilton, Palat, Markstrom, Covey, and Lukehughes contracts. Fitz extended Markstrom. He is the problem. Do GMs even get fired in a season? I mean, they could get fired whenever. Chris Slater, fans since 82. I'm done going to the games until changes are made. Cost me money to go watch this crap. Yeah. It's hard. I don't think I could give them money anymore for this. Austin Powers, we've needed a top 6 winger for 3+ years and haven't addressed it. It's true. Need a Tkachuk in the locker room. I would love anything remotely like him. Again, few and far between. Not many guys like them. But, man, I would love it. Brandon, some really boneheaded decisions if you're basing every decision behind analytics, and I think I really agree with them. You need to see the team with your eyeballs and not the analytics. Well, analytics got us here. So you tell me, based on the results of the past however many years you want to say, are you happy with the track record? And I'm going to say categorically no. A single playoff round won in 14 years, guys. What are we talking about? The man from Jers 201, if this continues, I'll not renew my season tickets for next season. We'll purchase on a game-by-game basis. Show the fans that you're serious as an organization, or I'll have to cut back. If only enough people did that for it to make a change. I don't think it will. Yasuo Phoenix Finance, bro, owners don't know anything about winning, just speculating their way to more wealth. Well, it's nice to be able to collect teams like sports cards. I think they'd let us all into the parking lot of Continental to tailgate and watch the game there. I know they wouldn't, but that'd be fun. What are you doing here? This is where the Devils won. Man. Is Markstrom's career coming to an end? We're gonna see. Those questions will be answered in the next couple weeks. I mean, it very well could be. It very well could be. I hope not, but wow. Dryfly only says, let's hypothetically say Markstrom is done. What do we do with that contract? Unbelievable. I mean, I feel like they could put him on LTIR or something. At least I hope. Ivan, I never leave games early. I left after 10 minutes left in the third. I was so pissed. I was contemplating leaving after it was 4-1. Yeah, so was I. I left at around the same time with about 10 minutes left. Stick Figs, once proud franchise. I was once a proud fan like a couple weeks ago. But this generational fall off is something not even the most hardcore fans could write off and defend. It's brutal. It's completely brutal. David says, I hate when people call something a bad take without explaining. Go against the grain, prove it. Oh, that guy's an idiot. He's talking junk. I feel like last week too. Now now we're getting a bunch of trolls and imbeciles in here. It seems, but it is what it is. Most of you guys are cool. Saying not to blame. Hey Russo, a new GM is perfect. Shake-up trade. These guys, Dougie Palat. Mark, Fitz doesn't have the balls to make a tough move. It's possible. I mean, like I've said this before, that it's the moves that sting a little bit. He hasn't done them. The only moves he really made of substance, in my opinion, were the Timo Meier deal. And then after that season, he made a win now move, which people were kind of trying to go back and use some of that hindsight. The Toffoli deal, I'll always be a fan of. It sucked when we had to deal him for pennies at the deadline because we were out of the playoffs and they weren't going to sign him and pay him what he wanted. But those were deals that I think were pretty easy to make because you weren't losing anything of substance for the most part. I mean, some people bitched about Sharon Govich, but like whatever. The Timo deal was just like an accumulation of spare parts. So that was kind of an easy one for me. Stickfix says people get fired for doing more at their jobs than Vince does. Devs 2000 says, why did Fitz extend Markstrom when he did? Explain it to me like I'm 5 because I don't get it. He should get fired for that alone. I have no answer. I have no answer. The only thing I can come up with is that the team or Fitz believed it was weighing on him and affecting his gameplay, and that they thought once this was maybe, once this was handled, it would maybe be out of his mind. He would be a little looser or play better or whatever it is. I don't know exactly. It's the only thing I could remotely come up with is that, they thought it was a distraction or it was a hindrance on him in some way, and that once it was taken care of, he would improve, which obviously did not happen. Fentanyl Floyd Ace, we all know you got a Sprong jersey during the Fanatics sale. Absolutely not. And you guys are brutal. You guys are talking smack on the guy. I can only imagine what people say about me behind closed doors. I will say, even people I don't like, and I'm not saying that's the case with him. I'm even talking about people I really don't like, and even characters associated with other teams and things. It's not that easy to get on here and do any sort of record videos or live streams. Like, it's not that easy. I'm not going to say it's extremely difficult, but for different people, you know, some people probably feel it as like, you know, it's like a tense kind of thing. I don't know. Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own thing. But, you know, I think a lot of people just, you know, bash people. And it's like, dude, it's not always easy. Just like the players. But it's a little different with, you know, making videos or doing live streams. But, man, you guys are just ruthless. Ruthless. John Fay, your job as general manager, keyword manager. It's your duty, your oath, and your dignity to make sure this team goes in the right direction. If you fail at that job and can't make things right, you shouldn't be a GM. Completely agree. Justin says Fitz should be fired tonight. Brandon says, I think I prefer Fitz to do nothing. Anything he does or touches makes this team worse. Well, that's why I said I don't think he should be the one to fix it now. I think we've gone too long this season. And with the track record, it's like bring in someone who's going to try to fix it. I don't know that I want him to be the one to attempt it. They've definitely used up all their good vibes from 22-23, Jason. No, they used it all up for me immediately the following year. Johnny K, Fitz, Madigan, etc. are all part of a collective decision-making process. It's like the Chernobyl disaster. No one has any autonomy to pull the trigger until it's too late. Boom. Well, I feel like something should have been done already, and we're just watching the same movie. We know how this ends. At best case, it's limping into the playoffs and getting dusted in the first round. That's at best case. Worst case, we missed the playoffs. Jack McCabe, if Nico wasn't the C, who's your pick on the team? If you had to pick one, or he is and not on the team, this is a no-brainer. I think other people have said it as well. 100% a no-brainer. If Nico was not the captain of this team, I would 1,000% give the C to Dilly. Easily, I give it to Dilly. And I think if not Dilly, I'll even give you my next line. My next one would probably be Pesci. Pesci would be my second choice. Throwback Warriors. Jeremy Proper, it's a dark time. Utica A squad tonight. Sad. What we once were to where we are now. Yo, Holmes just said, just got hit up on my devs reps to secure my deposit for next year. Are you kidding me? Are they seriously looking to get deposits for next season? I would laugh at them. I'd say, are you kidding me? You like the video? Hit the thumbs up for your boy. Thank you. Hit the thumbs up. Appreciate all of you for coming out on after a terrible performance by this team, which has everyone very chatty, obviously. Is nothing new that this group is typically very chatty following beautiful wins or devastating losses. And here we are after a devastating loss where there's just so many, there are way more questions than answers. BK, bring Brady to Kachuk to New Jersey. Pipe dream will never happen. It's certainly a pipe dream. I will still, in the back of my mind, hope about it, but it's just so far from reality now. I'm trying to catch up here, folks. Bear with me. Jason, no, just shows you how good of an organization Tampa is and how well coached they are because they're just as banged up. Yeah, other teams do not wither and die with a few injuries. And I didn't think we would say it this year, but Shame on me. That's exactly what happened, just like every other time it's happened. Jack says, my theory is that Markstrom and Fitz had a handshake deal in the offseason and was delayed for some reason into the regular season. If not, something like that would be complete negligence. It's possible. Michael says, I don't have an issue with LTIR last season. It would have been for a rental and we weren't going to win with all the injuries and we'd be in even worse cap trouble now. But everyone says this as a cop-out. Like, why couldn't we have got someone with term? Why did it have to be a pure rental? World Wars Gamer says, the only thing that could save the franchise is to have a Taylor Swift night. I would not be shocked if the Devils try it. Oh, God. Dogzilla, remember what Lou did to Almo? Send him to Albany. Hope Markstrom could pull it together, but starting to get this Joe Namath vibe when he end up on the LA Rams in a big move only to completely fail. Oh, guys, hold on one second. I didn't tell a funny story. I have a prop I have to get. Did I knock this thing off? Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to put the game stats. I'll be back in 1 second. I have to get a prop. I left out a detail of my game experience. I'll be right back. Be right back. Okay. So for those of you that have attended games and pay attention to like the in-arena production, again, shout out to my buddy Brian. He's probably going to be so pissed that this happened on a night that he wasn't in his seats because he gave them to me. He wasn't going. They do an easy pass race. This is so ridiculous. But essentially, one of the things they came up with is that they take multiple rows and there's a massive cardboard car. I want to say it's like 3 or 4 feet long. It's a cardboard car. And they give one to each row, 3 rows. And it's a game in a TV timeout. And the game is that each person, you have to pass the car entirely down your row and then pass it back. So it's like a race. And the first row to get the car all the way down the row and back wins. So at first, it was the 2 rows in front of us. I don't remember if they typically, I thought it was only 2 rows, but tonight they did 3. Maybe that's normal and I don't pay close enough attention. I don't know. But tonight, it was the 2 rows in front of us. And I was like amused watching it and them set it all up and explain to the people how the game works. And I'm right behind them. And then like at the last minute, the guy's like, you guys are in it too. And I'm like, what? And now I go into battle mode. As you guys know, I take my in-arena challenges very seriously. And in fact, I proudly represented our beautiful country of the United States of America in international competition at the Four Nations in Boston at the championship game. I was there at the championship game, represented the red, white, and blue against the Canadian fella in a puck stacking challenge on our foreheads. And of course I did it for America. I won, and I won some stupid little prize, but I take my in-arena challenges very seriously. And so now at the last minute, they say, you're going to be in this contest. And I'm like, oh my God, I immediately go into battle mode, right? I was there with my brother-in-law and I look at him and I'm like, all right, he's a younger fella and he understood the game. So I was like, yo, we got to get this. Blah, blah. So I explained it to him real quick and I'm like, go on the end because you need a strong anchor. You need the swing guy. The last seat is always a very pivotal role in this contest. So he was sitting next to him, like, go in the last seat. We need to get you in the last seat so we could get this thing flying back. And then I had a brief conversation with 2 of the other guys in the row. And I was like, we're taking this down. Bring your A games, fellas. And then they go. And they pass the car. And of course, light work, your boy, we win. Of course we win because I don't lose in arena challenges. And what do we win? This beautiful Easy Pass. Easy Pass Devils t-shirt. With the 3 cars on it and the Devils logo. Another arena win for your boy. Easy Pass Car Race Challenge champions, baby. They will never take this away from us. This one lasts forever. I thought that was a funny story from the game you guys might enjoy if you've been to the games and you've seen this. All right, let me Let me scroll ahead here. I'm getting to live. BK, if Lewis GM Dawes would be called up tomorrow and Mark could be sent to the players box for the entire weekend. That's not going to happen. Anson, Ace, no more press pass. We need you in the room asking questions. Can you tell us what's up with that? I could tell you that I would say I am 99.99% sure that I will never be back. That I will never be back, and it's complete nonsense. I don't really want to go into it. It's just a complete bogus thing, but it's not my doing. I have no control over it. It is what it is. I mean, I didn't, it sucks. They screwed me over. I'm done talking about it for now. There's nothing I could do about it, and that's it. I mean, you know, they get to pick and choose who they want. They don't want me, and so it is what it is. We bring, breaking news. We have breaking news. Wait for it. Breaking news. We've been contacted via email from the outside. And I hate to even give them this level of excitement, but there it is. There it is from SST via email. Via email from the outside. You look miserable. LMAO, you deserve it. Wow. Imagine. I can't imagine being this type of person, but wow. Yeah, what a night. What a night. Maria says, was wondering what that Easy Pass t-shirt looked like. Well, there it is, Maria. That is my eternal trophy. Eternal trophy for the Easy Pass car victory. Man. 360 bong hits. Devils pass the Easy Pass to the Lightning tonight. Yeah. Snow Devil, I've actually been wondering what the Easy Pass t-shirts look like. Actually looks good, much better than what I would have thought. I was hoping it just had an Easy Pass logo on it. That would have made me laugh. The design is, you know, it's not great, but it's better than what I would have anticipated as well. When they were handing them out, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to open this up. and see what this shirt looks like, because I've seen it at every game too, and I've never seen what the shirt looked like. And so I was very curious. SJ says Ace is too real for the team. I don't even think that's what it is. If I'm being honest. It's just it's whatever it is. It sucks that, you know, I have a lot of good ideas, I think, for stuff that I could do in conjunction with the team, but you know, I can't force it. They have no interest, and that's fine. I will continue to do what I do. I still have a ton of other things I plan to do that does not rely on any sort of input or buy-in from them. And that's all I could do. Continue to do things that I think are somewhat interesting, things that you guys enjoy, and I will continue to do that. You know, that's all I could do. Is it a Porsche or a Toyota Supra on the shirt? It could be a Fast and Furious. Ethan, Ace, can we get merch soon, please? I want to rep it at the games, please. I will pay good money, please. I mean, I'm just curious, Ethan, when you say merch, what type of stuff are you thinking of? I've been thinking about it, but like, do people really want it? I don't know. I've been thinking about it, but I have a couple other things in the works that I was trying to get done before that. But eventually I'll do something, but I'm curious what your suggestion is. David says we can't flush this. We got our asses kicked, Sheldon Keefe. Yeah, I can't wait to watch the media availability. Yeah. I mean, but they could have made the Devils logo bigger. I mean, it's like 3 cars with their logo on it, and it's like a little Devils logo at the bottom. I mean, they could have at least made the Devils branding a little bit bigger. Child of the Atom says, Ace, you didn't need them before. You don't need them now. No, I don't need them, but the reality is, like, it would be nice to be able to interview players. Like, that is, to me, the coolest part of doing anything like this. And while I'll still be able to get former players, and there'll be some of those coming up soon as well, it would be nice to be able to interview current players, but they are allowed to gatekeep and, you know, do whatever they want. And so, you know, as a result of that, I will not have that opportunity, and it sucks. But there's nothing I could do. And so I'll just continue to do what I can. Shirts or hats. Ethan says t-shirt. Chase, no, nothing gets through to this team. Maybe sending out a player will get their attention. Do you mean in a healthy scratch situation or a trade? I did see the Markstrom post game. He was dialed in. David S. As negative as this sounds, my gut still tells me no trades will happen until after the new year. It's possible. And hopefully they're still in a position to salvage the season. That's all I could say. I mean, this has just been a discouraging stretch. And I think the reality is they've shown who they are without jackhughes. And it's not a good hockey team at all. Ethan Ace, it is true. I have gotten 5 calls today from my rep asking if I want to put a deposit down for next year and offering food tickets if I do it today and a glass seat for a game. Wow. Titus Dream, in my opinion, you asked an actual question people wanted to hear that follow the team, and the short bus media didn't understand what happened. What is that in reference to? I don't follow what that was. SJ says they only want their people. It is what it is. Yeah, but who is their people? Technically, their person is Amanda Stein. She's the team reporter that works for the Devils. Anyone else is not their people. They're independent media members. Child of the Atom, we need to trade. That's an undeniable fact. No, she definitely works the team. She's the team reporter employed by the Devils. Zach Chin, Caps are reportedly in on Quinn Fitz can't let him go there for 2 years. I think a lot of this is kind of, I've said this before, but I think it's like propaganda BS that is purposely being put out there or fed to the media in an attempt to raise the price for Quinn Hughes. I do believe this is a very well orchestrated kind of like that. You know, it's a tactic that's being used to get the price up so that they can get the biggest return possible for Quinn Hughes. And it's not a bad tactic, but I do think this is going to be a complete hold on. I'm trying to make magic happen. Yeah, I don't think the Caps are real players, but who knows? I mean, listen, he could put a team over the edge to win the cup. David Ace, just wondering, does reading all these comments after a loss make you feel better or worse? I would say neither. I mean, in the end, the performance is going to do what it's going to do. I'm not going to, get more down or feel relieved by comments. Like, I saw what I saw. I know what I know. It is just it's become kind of fun to, like I always say, either celebrate with a bunch of you or commiserate and just kind of wallow in our sorrows. And we're like our own little social club here. But it sucks on nights like tonight. Like, there's nothing positive to take from this game outside of a couple very small little nuggets, which in the grand scheme of things are meaningful. But I guess in a nutshell, if I had to, summarize the couple nuggets is one, Lukehughes finally broke through. I mean, he needs to start scoring more. A lot of people have been riding him. I am not worried about Luke long-term. I know many of you have trashed the contract. You've trashed Luke. I mean, he's been a target of a lot of, skepticism throughout the season. And again, anytime you sign for $9 million, that's going to happen. So, it is what it is, but I think long-term he'll be fine, but he definitely has struggled thus far out of the gate. And that I think is a huge goal. I mean, how beautiful of a video game goal it was. Hopefully that's good for his confidence. Hopefully he starts to get it going. Hopefully he starts producing somewhat regularly and could bring us some more moments like that, hopefully in games that we could win. So I think that's a positive for Luke. Obviously, Paul Cotter scoring in back-to-back games is a huge positive. We know he could finish, and to see him do it back-to-back games is a good sign. You know, he's gone through a cold spell himself and obviously has had somewhat of a down year and wants to try to, you know, start producing as much as possible. Hopefully this is the sign of things to come for Cotter. I do think he has the highest upside that we haven't seen yet, and we'll keep an eye on him. Then the other one is Crookshank. I mean, is this another potential bottom six piece that sticks around that could show some life and bring a little spark in the bottom six? Crookshank getting a goal. So, you know, that's basically it. But in the grand scheme of all the problems, like, these are just very minuscule things to even mention compared to all the tragic things that have gone on. Benjamin, maybe you're a tad too Italian, Ace. I know the feeling. I never thought of that. Am I being discriminated against for being Italian? I never thought of that. You might be onto something. You know what? Italians were discriminated against back in the day. Maybe it's coming full circle. You might be onto something, Benjamin. I never even thought of that. Maybe I am too Italian, as you say. Discrimination against Italians. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ryan Demand says Quinn doesn't want to go anywhere except to NJ where his brothers are. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but Titus Dream, I thought this was a 500 bare minimum club without Jack. Don't know what happened. Something in that locker room is rotting. Completely agree. It's just too much now. Too much for too long, and something's got to give. Jeremy Proper, 84 likes. Damn, 206 people here. Smash the like for your boy. Come on. I'm out here just bleeding on air. Ethan says, real question, why would Quinn want to come here if his brother Jack isn't going to play a lot? Come on, man. He's hurt. Obviously, he would like to be here with his two brothers. What a fairy tale kind of life that is. To be playing in the best league in the world with your brothers. It's crazy. Bungie says, I've been a Luke hater, but the last couple games made me a believer. I hope he rises from here. Kid's going to go far. He's 22. He's going to be great. I would like to see him, you know, have a better season this year, but long term, he's going to be just fine. SJ, great move by Luke on the goal. Need more of that, please, for sure. Unhinged Devs fan, all I want for Christmas is the return of our savior, Brett Pesce. That would be nice. Hey, Russo, what happens first, big trade or Fitz canned? Wow. I mean, I don't have much faith in either one happening. If I had to pick one, I would say big trade, just for the simple fact that the Devils seem to have at least a bit of an inside track to land Quinn. So I'll go with the big trade, simply for that reason. Now, if I had to bet, I would say that nothing happens. I definitely don't think Fitz gets fired, unfortunately. And if he does, that wouldn't be till after the season. And I think we would certainly have to miss the playoffs for it to even be a chance of that. Making the playoffs, I think, guarantees he's still here. Missing it, I would say then it's a 50-50. But I don't have a lot of confidence in anything right now, other than this team is going to consistently struggle until help is brought in. Benjamin, more evidence Pesce is a key piece. Dude is a monster. Neil, goaltending is a massive problem. Defense is horrible. Time for Fitzgerald to go. David, the whole team is out of sync, skating around, looking lost. It's almost like they're in complete disarray, just waiting for a trade to be announced. Oh, man. Benjamin Fitz is going nowhere, sadly. Children of the Atom, I'm a huge Nico guy. I love the way he plays. I love the human he appears to be, but he isn't the captain this team needs. He's too decent and polite and honorable. We need a dog to beat dogs. I think that might be the kind of most streamlined, fair kind of assessment. And I'm not saying I necessarily agree, but I'll say at least to some extent I agree. I do think I now firmly believe more than ever after seeing what this team has looked like in the past few years that you do need an animal to be the captain. You're dealing with savage beasts. And unfortunately, being this kind of player, I just don't think is enough. I don't know. I don't know. I do think it's hard to win consistently in a sport like this, especially when times are rough, with someone that's a little more mild-mannered. Like, I do want someone salivating at this point. I want to see foaming at the mouth. John Face says, when is Pesci due to return? 1 week from now or 2? No one knows for sure. No one knows for sure. Anyone who tells you would be guessing. But we're thinking close to the end of the year. Yo Holmes says, can't fire Boozeface when Conan Vancouver is calling him Fitzy. Bungie, I'm going to bounce. Stamkos is coming, true believers. Oh, boy. Uh-oh, people fighting in the chat. People fighting in the chat. Neil, this team lacks heart and doesn't have intestinal fortitude. They appear just to be going through the motions. I can't say you're wrong. And it's honestly discouraging. It does seem like some guys are content to show up and collect a paycheck. And when you have guys doing that, you're going to get nights like tonight. You're going to get nights like tonight where you're just like, what did I just watch? And some of us, unfortunately, had to watch it live. Thoughts and prayers to anyone else who was in the building tonight. What a waste of your time that you'll never get back. Hours of your life going to that game and sitting through that absolute travesty. Woodson, we need an animal to right the ship, but yet we want Quinn. Make it make sense. Well, I think if you have a chance to get a guy like Quinn, you do that, and then you try to make the other adjustments you need afterwards. But I wouldn't say not to, to pass on, assuming that there's a reasonable deal to be had, to pass on Quinn because you have other needs. Like, maybe it's time to take a real hard look at this team and make several moves. Maybe they're not all going to happen this season, but in the summer, you still have a chance at the deadline, leading up to the deadline, and then in the summer. But I certainly would take, Quinn Hughes on my team. I'm certainly not going to say he's the end all be all, but he definitely could be a big piece of a winning team, and then figure out what are the other pieces that you need. Identify the other holes, the other needs, the other characteristics you're looking to bring in, and figure it out. But when you have an inside track on a guy like Quinn, you should try to make it happen, because let's be real, if that doesn't happen with the inside, leverage there, what realistic chance do we have of getting someone else besides him? I would say not much. John Faces, I just realized what's wrong with being Italian. I don't know. Someone pointed out that's probably why I was discriminated against, because I'm Italian. So I don't know. I guess we'd have to ask them. Maybe they just don't like Italians. Child of the Atom, don't get me wrong. I want to hang out with Nico. I want to invite him to my home, but we need a dog to win in this league. But he's a great dude, or he seems to be. But that doesn't win games in the NHL. I agree. Eric, I don't want to hear Allen is better than Markey when Allen went in and allowed 5. Goaltending is off, but our defense is a lot to blame for it too. Oh, for sure. But let's be real, Eric. I mean, the Devils played horrible tonight. And if you're going to tell me that Allen hasn't been substantially better than Markey this season, you're nuts. And I'm a Markey guy. I love Markey. But the numbers don't lie. Jake Allen's numbers are much better. Running with the Woods and says, Quinn is another teddy bear on a team full of teddy bears. Oof. Eric says, yes, we need a true dog, but Nico is a gamer. Look at Florida and Barkov. He doesn't need to be the bark. Matty T takes over that without being the C. Eric, completely agree with you, which is why I think the people that say the stuff about Nico, like, while it's somewhat true, in the end, I don't think Nico needs to be that guy. That's my point. It's like, bring in the guys that do bring that element. You know, much to your point, Eric, we don't have a Matthew Tkachuk, right? And that's what I've been pounding the table for years, is like, I do like this core and I do believe in them, but they need the right pieces around them, the right complementary pieces to give us that true blend of what it takes to be a contender. And the snarl and the skilled grit, the scrit is not there. We have no Matthew Tkachuk. We have nothing close to it. And so that's why myself and many others for years have been begging and pleading to bring in some guys like that, because this team is desperately missing it. You're lying to yourself or just delusional if you haven't come to that realization at this point. This team lacks that bite, that real emotional leader, that guy who's really going to drag the boys into the fucking war. It's not happening. Maria says, I stayed until the end. Oh, you're a glutton for punishment. Zach, I still have 10 games left in my partial plan. Hopefully something changes before December 21st when I go next. Brandon, starting to think this Quinn trade is a distraction for us as well. Nemitz got questioned about it. I'm sure other players like Dougie are half-ass invested until this happens or he goes to a different team. And that's the other terrible thing. Like, I'm sure they've heard about it too. And it's probably obviously nowhere near as big of a distraction as it is in Vancouver. But it's probably a little bit of a distraction now here as well, because these guys are humans and they see the chatter and they see the stuff online and the videos and the articles. And there's a lot of guys being rumored, and everybody probably is a little uneasy, kind of wondering what their future holds. But that's no excuse. You're professionals. You're paid very handsomely. Go out there and win some friggin' games. Jeremy says, Sunday fun day, Quinn stays when Vancouver leaves. Yeah, I made that joke that maybe he's just going to pack extra bags and he never leaves after the game. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, Quinn I want them to announce it on the loudspeaker, Adam Hamway, to be like, fans, stay tuned after the game to watch a special presentation. And then they announce Quinn and they have like a whole ceremony on the ice. That'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. At this point, I could see this potentially being dragged out for a while. We don't have those guys that are big and physical. Completely agree. Running with the Wits in Florida doesn't have a mixture. They have all dogs. We need every player to be a dog if you were beating them in the playoffs. Well, this year they might not even be in the playoffs. But, you know, I don't think everyone needs to be a dog, but you definitely need several. Is it too late to sign Yager? Dude's still playing hockey. Yager would still be a threat on the power play. He could still rip it. DMB, fun fact, my wife and I are in that picture over your left shoulder with Stevens carrying off the cup. Really? That's one of my favorite pics of Scotty going through the tunnel down to the locker room, 2003, Game 7. What an epic moment. One of the best nights of my life, easily. And unfortunately, as time goes on, I don't know that I'm ever going to experience that again. I really don't know. Michael, what home game do y'all recommend I pay to see coming up or most likely to win? Oh, that's just a total crapshoot, dude. I couldn't tell you that. At this point, I mean, I'd still say Vancouver on Sunday. Probably your best chance. David says, I hope that fan who scored a date did not take her to this game would spoil the mood quick. He did. He was in the restaurant. I did a afternoon stream talking about the Timo news and Parent, and he actually was in there, and he said he was bringing her on a date there tonight, and he had restaurant tickets. He did it big. Ethan says, if Phillip Rivers can play, why can't Martin Brodeur for us? Little bit different, but I think Marty's all set with putting on the pads. Titus, this team is mentally weak. If anything goes wrong, they collapse like a – oh, boy. Jay Snow, we need more big shutdown D-men. They're so important. We have too many offensive D-men right now. I would love to see some big physical shutdown D-men. I would love to see some big physical any position at this point, honestly. I'm down. I'm down bad right now. There's not much to be positive about. I mean, you know, we just look horrible. Hopefully Pesci's back soon. Hopefully Jack's back not long after that. And hopefully we're still in the mix to lock down a spot. Jack Ace, at what point do you look at coaching as an issue, or do you at all? I mean, at some point, I guess you have to, but I just think at some point you have to say that how are you going to blame the coach? Like this core has underachieved through several coaches. At some point, you can't just be like, oh, it's the coach. Like, no, how about it's these players? It's the players. It ain't the coach. It's the players and the general manager. What is the consistent theme throughout the years? This core that will never get it done, the existing core and the general manager. And then to try to scapegoat a coach is psychotic, in my opinion. Now, I do think Keefe has been a very good coach for this team. I think he's worked miracles last season and this season. But he's being forced to play an entire fourth line of AHL players. I mean, if you give that roster to many coaches, they're going to get the same results. It's hard to win games in this league, period. And it's even harder to win games in this league when you are constantly playing several AHL players on a nightly basis. And then couple that with the fact that your starting goaltender has abysmal numbers. And that's where we are. And that is where we are. Dire Wolf, that was the first game in years I turned off early. Just an atrocious display. Burn the tape on to the next. Anson says, just can't panic sell and get robbed. Running with the Woodson. Nemitz is gone. We are obsessed with the Hughes. I don't know that he's necessarily gone. Maybe Detroit does swoop in there and get the deal done. Eric, with all this talk about being more physical and getting size on D, I would hate to hear we trade and give up on that mutant Salayev. I want to see what he looks like. He's a big boy, but I'm trying to, or I'm hoping anyway, that the team really shows win now mentality. And if there's a good deal for win now pieces and Salayev's part of it, I used to be on the train of like, oh, keep him. He's huge and, you know, could be a beast. Like at this point, I don't even care. Push all the chips in the middle. Go all in on this team and fail if you fail. But it's better to go all in and fail than to not try at all and then just fizzle into obscurity like we have been. Much rather take a swing and miss. Pulp, the fact that we can't be expected to beat the Ducks this year says everything about the Fitz era Devils. Oh, it's an era that just needs to come to an end. Jason, the D-zone play is abysmal. Something has to change. Running with the Woodson, lack of effort on the ice is the coach's responsibility. Obviously, there's not punishment being handed out in practices. Like, what do you want the punishment? Was he, you know, people are like, healthy scratch guys. What, healthy scratch guys and punish the overall team even more by having to insert another AHL player into the lineup on top of the 4 or 5 that are already there? I mean, what is the guy supposed to do? He can only do so much. Zach, again, we're 5 points out of first place with 51 games left to go. 1 or 2 decent moves can turn things around, trying to be an anti-doomer unless and until nothing changes. No, I agree with you. That's the thing that's the most frustrating, because there is time to save it, to fix the issues and move forward positively. I just have no faith that they're going to happen, and we're going to just be talking about this constantly until the team is mathematically eliminated from the postseason at some point, which obviously wouldn't be for a while. We're still super early. But that's the most frustrating part about it, is that this can be fixed. There's plenty of time to get this thing back. But on the flip side, it could get away from you quickly. And the longer no deals are made or anything of substance done, the more time that this team could just continue to drown slowly. Neil says, I'm okay with the core being broken up. I think a lot of people are at this point. Hey, Russo says, everyone needs to leave Chief Keefe alone. Yo, Holmes, Markey, a solid 880 goals against. SJ, how many coaches this core has had? It's the core. Yeah, for 100%. At some point, you have to say, unfortunately, it is the players, it is the GM, and the coaches are being scapegoated. And I think we're there now. The man from Jersey, do we start a Quinn chant on Sunday? Good luck. Good luck trying to get the crowd to chant anything. These people look like they were dying in there. You couldn't get them to chant anything. Bacchanal, Keefe needs to make an example. No excuses. He could have Utica on the ice. I bet they would play hungry. Yeah, but hungry is not going to get you wins, unfortunately. You can only overcome so many AHL guys in your lineup every night. And tonight we had a whole fourth line made up of AHL guys. Like, it's going to be hard to win games in this league with lineups like that. That's just the reality. And, you know, we looked like a team that didn't belong tonight. Hey, Rooney, call up Nico Dawes this weekend. This duo in goal is a joke. I have faith in Jake Allen's next start. I don't like spots where they got to come in where they weren't planning on playing, and the team was awful in front of him. Hopefully he looks better in the next one. Running with the Woodson, we should be having 2 practices a day, wind sprints until they drop, as long as they continue to show they don't care during games. Jay Snow, it's time to break it up. We've let it run long enough. I feel that way too. John, the crowd today knew what to expect. I feel like Ace. Yeah, dead crowd from the jump. And then once they scored the 2 goals, it was real depressing. Started to show a little bit of life after the Luke goal, but that was quickly squashed when the Lightning scored again moments later. Zach, if I could place a bet, I'd say that something is done before puck drop on Saturday. I genuinely have no hope in Fitz, but at some point the owner's got to tell him to act. There's a lot of excuses. You got to, it takes 2 to tango. You can't force trades, yada, yada. How can I help you? At least once per stream, I have to confirm Ace hasn't frozen. I don't think I froze, did I? Child of the Atom, when I heard the desperation of reps texting for sales, I thought someone was being cheeky. Today I received a text from a rep, sad, pathetic begging. Oh, yeah, they're going to start feeling it. Box office numbers are going to dip. No jackhughes, who's your main draw, and the team is playing horribly. If the team is playing well, you could still survive Jackhughes being out, your poster boy. But when he's not in the lineup and the team sucks, ooh, that's a deadly duo. Going to be hard to sell tickets. Yeah, barely practices because of the condensed schedule. It's true. I'm not saying it's an AHL team, but there's a lot of AHL guys. I mean, show me another team that has a full line of AHL players with, let's see. Yeah, a full line of AHL players. I mean, that's tough. Eric, we are a couple moves away from being a wagon. Look at Colorado and how deep they are. I'm okay with this not being our year, but the cap doesn't allow the moves. Fitzgerald panicked before, not again. So we should make a list of Fitzy's war crimes. Are you being a funny guy, Woodson? The software has improved. Anson, what you can be sure of, whoever we trade away will go off with their new team, probably. Ethan says that they say things like, I guess you don't care about saving money, and I guess you don't like supporting the team. Are you kidding me? Do they really say that? Is this real or are you people exaggerating? Antonio, no playoffs this year. Fitzy gone, Keefe gone, players gone. What's it look like? It should 1,000% be Fitzy gone and a bunch of players gone. I'm not getting rid of Keefe. I'm hoping to bring in a GM and some players that give him a chance to win. Brian, October seems so far away. I'm not sure what I'm watching anymore. I can't believe that that we're almost at the point of talking about next season again. I mean, it's obviously far away and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I have to mentally prepare myself for that because if nothing happens, that's going to be our reality. We're going to be here talking about October again, which is absolutely brutal. Neil, can see keep saying, I'm done with this dumpster fire team. He's got to be frustrated with the team's lack of heart. I'm sure he is. Zach says, my rep is pretty chill. I told her I'd still do the partial package next season, but we spent most of the call complaining about the performance. She said she understands why people aren't re-upping. They're probably going to get a lot of drop-offs. I mean, you keep, it is what it is, right? It's just like, people have, like I said, people have choices. And when the team constantly underperforms and then falls apart when there's inevitable injuries, people are only going to be interested for so long. And then they're going to say, you know what? I have other things to do with my time and money. Running with the Wooden says it's going to be a quiet next 2 years. Why 2 years? Brian says, remember how happy we were when the season started? I feel like we were being punished. Not fair. Oof. I remember that 8-game heater. It was a glorious feeling. And here we are. Antonio, I had the privilege of being probably one of the so many people that could clearly see Markey annihilating his stick in the hallway behind the bench after being pulled. I knew it was going to happen. He destroyed it. Running with the Woodson, Dougie, Palat, and Markey come off the books in 2 years. Oh, boy. Pulp Mystic, has there been any word about Dodonov? Reporters don't ask and Devils don't tell. Makes last offseason feel even worse. I believe he was put on LTIR today or yesterday. As far as I'm concerned, he's not even part of the team. He never was, and he's not part of the team. Like, I don't see him ever being a regular in this lineup. Zach, I get that he's had a rough season so far, but I could only imagine the Markey haters if he puts up a 925 and brings us to a cup within the next 2 seasons. I mean, that'd be phenomenal, but what are the realistic chances that that happens? I'm going to say not very good. I would love to see it happen. But what have you seen as of late that would make you believe there's a realistic chance of that happening? John Fay, I remember that 8-game heater, then the month of December rolled around and ruined it. Well, it started happening before that, but yeah. John Fay, we got to find a way to break the December curse. We got to have at least one season where we don't suck in the month of December. How can I help you? That black practice jersey is sick. Have one myself. Off-ice complaint. Why can't they just give us a clean black jersey with the shield? You mean just an all-black jersey with the Devils logo and nothing else? Jersey Roots, hey, do you know why the merch for Clinton Ave website is gone? I really wanted a t-shirt. Good night, Justin. Jersey Root says, to be honest, there's been a lot of Fugazi merch being sold without permission. Are you talking about like unlicensed stuff? The league should just make it easier for people to sell licensed goods. I've never looked into it, but I imagine it's a complete nightmare and a bunch of red tape. And then listen, and here's the other thing, right? Like, there's people outside the arena every game selling piles of clearly not licensed Devils hats and shit. And no one says anything to those guys. And they come after the people on the internet. There's 4 or 5 of them outside the arena every game. No one says shit to them. And they're technically selling unlicensed merchandise and selling stuff on arena property. They're basically doing 2 things technically incorrect at the same time. World's Worst Gamer says Markstrom to Oilers, the NHL trade deadline. I can't see it. Unless he has a dramatic turnaround, I can't see them believing that he's still has value. And B, he has trade protection, I believe. Zach, I did not yet. I'm debating on a couple different players for the new USA jersey. I might have to get a Brady Tkachuk. It's a long story, the Clinton Ave crew. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I wish I did. Child of the Atom, I feel like the truly saddest thing here is we all are talking about this and thinking about it. I don't believe the players are thinking about this and talking about this. Probably not. But Eric Markey needs a legit reset. He's just overplaying and out of position. I still have faith in him, and now I think that extension wasn't thought out. Well, I mean, it'll never make sense to most, at least the timing of it, right? Coming off an injury and showing signs of struggle, like there was plenty of time to kind of hold off on it. What was the rush? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. It obviously was questioned by many immediately. Who knows? But a smooth. I want a USA jersey, but it looks like a Ranger jersey. I mean, but it's not. It looks like it, but it's a USA jersey. So, and I don't want a Rangers jersey. Zach, I had to go with the OG white sweater. The blue looks too much like the Rags home unis. They're coming soon. Definitely by the new year. I got the USA 4 Nations jersey hoodie. Very nice. Child of the Adam Lucas is like a $9 million man, and he plays like he's free. Like we just called him up from a beer league. Great goal tonight, but vacant these past 2 months. I mean, a little rough start, but give the kid a break, huh? Running with the Woodson, if Markey didn't get extended, would you bring him back, and for how much? No, absolutely not. No, I wouldn't bring him back as of right now, barring some major turnaround. I'm not a crazy person. I told you guys I love the guy, but I'm honest about it. It's been a shaky start to the season. There's absolutely no chance I would. I mean, why would you? You'd have to be a nut job. I would look for another goaltender. If it's not Dawes, then figure out who it is. But I certainly would not be bringing him back, barring a massive, massive turnaround of some kind. Anson Meadows, bring back the World Cup of Hockey. That North America under-23 team was sick. At least we have Kachucks on the team with the USA team. Collins, will there be a dedicated senior citizen line? What do you mean by that? Child of the Adam, if he did a sweetheart team deal, great, but he stuck it to the organization. That's facts. Neil, trying to think of GMs to replace Fitzgerald. How about bring back Bill Guerin? I don't think he's going anywhere, but I have mentioned him as a guy I would love. But my top two, my number one is I offer it to Marty Brodeur. If he doesn't want it, then I go down the list. Number two on my list would be Brendan Shanahan, and number three would probably be Brian Burke. I agree. Zach, I feel like he'll turn it around after the new year he did last season, but the team fell apart offensively just as he started turning it up. Oh, we don't have a lot of time to waste. You got to turn it around stat, or the season is going to get away from us. That is the reality. With the standings as tight as they are, an extended streak like the one we're kind of on here. I mean, losing 6 of the last 7 is absolutely brutal. Carney, aside of this team, can't wait until the trade deadline to make a move, earth-shattering or not. If something's not done by Christmas, Fitzy should be out, no question. I agree. How can I help you? Marty has been in GM training for like a decade. F it, why not? That's where I'm at. If he wants the job, I offer it to him and say, this is your job if you don't want it. And there's a good chance he may not want it. I've talked about this before. There's a chance he may not want it. And if he doesn't, that's fine. Then I go down the list and go for other guys. All right, guys. Run into the bathroom. Back in 2 minutes, and then we start winding it down. Thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions. I would like some suggestions. Ethan says, Ace, if you make a shirt, I'll wear it to every Devils game. The thing is, I did the shirts kind of to mixed. I mean, eventually I think they all sold the shirts and things. But yeah, I don't know. Let me think about that. But I don't want to just put, like, I want to have something. I want something to inspire me to make the shirt. And Heavier, Edgier, More Violent was a very natural one. Like, I was like, that would be a great shirt. This is an awesome theme. All right, back in 2 minutes. We're going to run to the bathroom. Suggestions, throw it out there, and we'll start winding it down. I'm not in any hurry to necessarily close it up right away, but we'll start the process. Here's a long list of all the goals against tonight you could enjoy while I use the facilities. Back in a minute, 2 minutes. Wow. What a night. What a night. What a harsh dose of reality. What a harsh dose of reality. Ah, man. World's Worst Gamer, I'd like to bring back Jim Schoenfeld. I think he'd get the right kind of players in here. He also has GM experience. Hell, he could do a head coach and GM too if he wanted. I don't know if that's the right move. But listen, I'm open to investigate every possibility. Stick Figs, use those connections to get some old greats like Gomer or Langenbar in the locker room for a couple days. We'll give them a team meeting they won't forget. Oh, I don't know if that current players would not be able to withstand or kind of bear the old school mentality ways of things. Run into the bathroom. Michael says I'd get a shirt. Back to my pot roast. What seasonings go with the Guinness method? I have no idea. I'm not a chef, sir. I'm just a guy who sits here talking about hockey and crying about how bad our team is. Ethan says, do you think because of the Saturday, December 13th traffic advisory, not a lot of people will go to the game? No, I don't think that'll have a bearing. Neil, Ace, your passion is admirable. Wish the players had some of that passion. I mean, some of them do. I wish more of them cared more too, but, you know, this is the world we live in. Carney, when I was in the building for Game 7 in 2003, my dad turned to me at the end and told me to take it all in because I may never see it again. Oof. Your father's a prophet. Who would have known how right he was? I would have certainly thought that we would get one more with that nucleus. And I guess, you know, the only ones who were left from the old guard, I guess, in 2012 were Marty and Patty, and we nearly got one out of nowhere. How amazing it would have been to get that one in 2012. Wise man. Insane Pollock, if Fitz is ever fired and Marty is hired, I'm going to immediately think Marty made a call to David and said, make me GM so I could fix this. I don't know that Marty has that in him. And I also don't know that he really wants the job just yet. He has a young son who's still playing hockey and lives in Missouri, and I think he goes there quite often. I think Marty does enjoy the flexibility that he currently has that he would not have if he was the GM. And so I don't think he necessarily would want it right away. But who knows, if it popped up, that could change a lot of stuff. Richard, I know it'll never happen because of the organization's obsession with the Hughes trio, but look at the Luke contract versus Bennett. There's a suggestion. Oh, for all the people, for all the folks, when I was saying do anything in your power to get Sam Bennett, because that is a cultural and on-ice identity shift, an immediate identity shift. I really wanted that badly, and so many people were like, he's not worth the money. And all those people are just completely lost. You can't put a price on heart and soul and scrit. And certainly Sam Bennett's giving you all of that, heart, soul, and scrit. Ethan says 4 lower bowl tickets with access to the Prudential Center's Premium M Lounge presented by BMW and a post-game meet and greet with nicohischier for only $6,750. Right now, bid Ace, bid now. No, I'm all good. No, Snow Devil, that's for a single game. 4 tickets in the Premium Lounge and meet Nico afterwards. Jersey, but if Marty got the job and failed, the fan base would clip his mojo big time. I mean, I will go down with the Marty Brodeur ship over what we're seeing here. It cannot get worse. It simply cannot. And so I'll take my chances with a guy like Marty. Yeah, fundraiser thing. How can I help you? In 2003, I thought it'd go on forever. Wish my old man gave me that advice. He gave me great advice all over the place, but not that nugget of wisdom, unfortunately. Eric, I like Shani as GM. Let him get some redemption from the Leafs. First thing he does is fire Keefe. Oh, boy. You know, I don't have the answers, but all I could tell you is I know the answer is just sitting idly and doing nothing. That is not going to get this fixed. I think that's very clear. But we sit and wait. We sit and wait to see if anything happens. I don't have many hopes. And if it does happen, it probably will be too late. Hopefully this team could just find a way to have some respect and claw their way to some points. But as of late, it's just very discouraging hockey on so many levels. On so many levels. Rob Blake is a sound GM, unemployed. Kings never missed the playoffs in spite of an aging core while there. Hall of Fame career. Cup as assistant GM, worked in Toronto for the NHL for a time. I will take any old school hockey guy, if I'm being honest. I want hockey guys, not these analytics guys who were data scientists or whatever they were, and now they've crossed into sports because of this obsession in the modern times with analytics and all of this junk. Like, yes, they have their place, sure. Have an analytics department, even fine. But they should not be the end-all, be-all, and the prime driving force in making on-ice decisions. I absolutely disagree with it. I will never agree with that line of thinking. I want someone who could watch a game and come to their own conclusions with their eyes. Guys that have won cups, guys that have been part of winning teams, guys that have played internationally. Those are the guys that I would want at the helm, and Rob Blake certainly would fit that criteria as well. Zach, aside from the fact that we were seriously outplayed tonight, the biggest difference between the two teams I noticed was the size difference. We looked like middle schoolers next to Tampa's players. Yeah, we've been undersized and weak for a while. And when you have several players that kind of fit that mold, especially in your top six, that becomes your identity. And unfortunately, that is the identity of this team right now. And I believe one of its major flaws. You need dogs. You need dogs, and you need it all. And right now, we're just a team that is built on the identity of our best players, which unfortunately is more of that finesse skill game. And while those players have value and you need them, you need that other stuff too. And we don't have any of it. None. Carney, aside of the season that got away from me was when Carolina scored 2 quick ones in the playoffs. Those teams from 2006 to 8 were good. What a shame. That meltdown in Game 7 was brutal. Brutal. Brandon, I honestly don't even know where to start with the Devils. They have so many problems. I don't know how to even fix this. Yeah, the 2009 Game 7 was one of the worst things I've ever been a part of. It was brutal. Completely brutal. The Devils staff needs to find another ball co. Brat and a pick for Tuck. I like Tuck, but someone brought this up earlier. The main deterrent for me is that he's going to want, ridiculous money, 11 or 12 million bucks. And it's just a lot of money to pay. It's a lot. Ethan, who you got starting Saturday? Definitely Allen. Carney, when I need to relax, I like listening to the Whoopi Goldberg narrate the 2003 Stanley Cup video. What a classic that is. The 2003 Cup DVD. What a great one. Eric says, don't worry about size. We were getting Quinn Hughes. But I think the size and the nastiness and all that stuff could be addressed in a separate move. Quinn Hughes is not going to solve that, but he is one of the best players on the planet. And so my kind of thinking there would be get Quinn Hughes and figure out the rest afterwards. You could make other moves. Maybe not right away, but if you have a chance to get a guy like that, get him and figure out the rest afterwards. But who knows at this point? It's just... All right, guys, I'm furious. I have to go watch all the post-game stuff now and just be disappointed. It really sucks. It really, 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 really sucks. Back in action Saturday afternoon, but our Devils thumped thoroughly tonight. Waxed by a score of 8-4. Terrible. Completely terrible. I really have no words. It's an unacceptable performance. And link in the chat if you're looking for on-sale merch. Fanatics. I got this hat. This is a beauty. Got a bunch of other hats. I got some Lululemon. Got a lot of stuff, but check out the link. Tons of stuff on sale. Link pinned at the top of the chat, and I just dropped it in there again. But I got some cool stuff coming up soon for you guys. Hopefully we find a way to win on Saturday. Saturday, the doors will open at 11 a.m., Ethan. 12:30 game, doors will open at 11. Jersey Roots, like and subscribe. Of course, hit the thumbs up on your way out. Check out the Fanatics sale. I got a lot of stuff in the works, and appreciate all of you. It's been a fun ride, despite this team toying with us emotionally on the regular. I can only hope that there's brighter days ahead. We'll see. We will see. But Devils lose 8-4. Losers of 6 of the last 7. Something's got to give. I'll be back soon. I'm just disgusted right now, and I'm just going to go soak it all in. Devils are in bad shape right now. Hopefully we see some changes. But hit the thumbs up on your way out. Check out the Fanatics sale. And hopefully this team gives us something to cheer for. Hopefully everything's okay with Timo's family. Thoughts and prayers to the Timo Meier family. Hopefully that's nothing serious. Hopefully he's back soon as well. And that's it, guys. Another stinker on home ice at the Rock. Devils have now lost 5 in a row at the Rock. And it's looking pretty bleak right now. But that's it. I'm pissed off. Just really down right now. And that's it. That's it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.